Welcome to our live virtual classes specifically for May 27 examination organized by Board of Studies Academics to support you, to guide you, and to have conceptual clarity. And of course, all the topics we are going to understand and learn in depth. And along with that, we will practice the questions also, right? So from ledgers written line by line to system working all the time, the world of audit now has grown beyond the records once well known. Through data streams and digital trails, the auditor today unveils insight hidden deep inside where technology and trust reside. As future professionals rise and see how innovation shapes our destiny, for in this era, bold and bright, digital audit is the future's light. So, we are starting our auditing subjects class, CA Final Paper 3, Advanced Auditing Assurance and Professional Ethics. And we are starting with a very important topic. And this topic covers one whole section. So, before you are studying, you should be knowing that our curriculum is divided into 19 chapters, right? If we refer our study material, it is further segregated into 3 modules. And today we are going to start module 2. And all these 9 chapters are further divided into 5 sections. And each and every section is specifically allocated certain marks, right? So today we are starting with not with section 1, not with section 5. We are starting with section 2, digital auditing and assurance. Why? This time, in the May 26 examination, we specifically observed that students have not performed well in this topic. So for this particular chapter, we have increased number of session, one more session, right? So 3 hours are being specifically increased to have clarity on this topic because nowadays everything is in digitalized version, right? So it's very important to understand this chapter because in the May 26 examination, it was a very simple question, but student misunderstood and they are writing something else. So rather than skipping that part, rather than leaving that chapter or lacking conceptual clarity, it's really required that we take interest in this chapter, we understand this chapter, and since we are starting for May 27 examination, my dear students, first, when you're starting your study, you should be knowing that what are the resources available to you because you are knowing that we are having study material, we are having mock test paper, we are also having a revisionary test paper for each and every examination. Case scenario booklet is also there. Saransh booklet is also there. Apart from this, BOS is also conducting a webinar, namely Audit Insights, Bridging Theory with Practice, to give you glimpse when you are going for audit, what kind of practical situations you are addressing, what kind of tools you are using, right? So all those are being explained in Audit Insights, Bridging Theory with Practice, right? So when you are starting your study, you should be knowing that what are the resources available, as I mentioned you. And when specifically we start our studying, we should be knowing that how many chapters, how many sections are there. So here section wise weightage is being given for each and every level. And for final course, if we see for CA final paper 3, right, our whole syllabus, as I mentioned you, is divided into 5 sections. So you can see that chapter 12 comprises 3% to 6% weightage. It means minimum it can be of 4 marks, maximum it can go to 7 marks, right? So minimum, if any chapter after studying, if I am sure that I'll be getting 4 to 7 marks, let's not skip this chapter because it's very important as well as it is very essential to know the digital tools and what kind of auditing and assurance techniques are being taught in the chapter. Right? Of course, Harshad sir is the faculty for today's session. He will be making you understand with the interesting examples, with case study or scenario which is practically happening. Real life case situation might be shared so that you can have the glimpse of that chapter and how we can easily capture, right? So if we talk about 5 sections for the auditing curriculum, section 2 is digital auditing and assurance, and section 4 is ESG and SDG, right? Emerging areas, sustainable development goals, and environmental, social, and governance assurance, right? So both the section comprises same skill wise weightage, same section wise weightage, right? 3% to 6%. Then we are having miscellaneous topic in our section 3, group audit, special feature of audit of bank and NBFC, overview of audit of PSU, internal audit, due diligence investigation and forensic accounting. So you can see that this time what we have done in our schedule, we are starting with section 2, digital auditing and assurance. Thereafter, we are going to cover section 3, all the topics, then section 4, and after that, I know you all are very much interested in section 1 and section 5. So we'll be covering those later at later stage. But in the beginning, we are going to start with these sections. So what my request is, please maintain, please, like just like when we go for audit, we maintain our documentation, right? You all are aware now, audit documentation is very important. If no documentation means no audit. So it is very important when you are attending the session, you should prepare your notes. You should write all the important points which are being covered in the session. And rather than like on Monday, what we have studied, if Tuesday we can again revise and have practice of 2 to 3 questions, and Wednesday that topic will be completed, right? And next session is on Monday. So auditing is on Monday and Wednesday. If you allot at least 2 to 3 hours on daily basis, I'm telling you, reason of failure is auditing subject. But if you specifically allot time to this subject, nobody can stop you to having exemption marks in auditing paper. So plan and prepare thoroughly. Don't go for shortcut because right now we are in July and your paper is in May 27 examination. So we are having time and we can practice in such a manner that in the first attempt we are getting exemption marks, right? So strategy we will be sharing, right? In the meantime, you are requested to practice on daily basis. Okay. One more important thing is you can also use Saransh booklet for revision purpose. Now, for this week, we have not shared you Zoom meeting ID link, right? So for all of you, it is an information, very important information that at 8:45 you can log in and you will be getting the link details so that you can log in and you can ask your queries. So till that time, sir will be explaining you the topic, but yes, last 15 minutes will be specifically for your query time and I will also be there. You can ask auditing subject related, any other query which you want to ask to BOS. I'm CA Karuna Bansali, faculty for your auditing subject. You can interact with me as well, right? So Harshad sir will be sharing you Zoom meeting ID at 8:45. So till that time, you have to prepare your notes. You have to write down your doubts so that at 8:45 p.m., the 15 minutes duration, you can definitely ask your queries and clear your doubts. Okay. So all the best to you all so that you can prepare, because if you are planning to, if you are preparing properly, if you are planning properly, your success way is open for, right? And if you are preparing effectively, you are writing the questions, you are doing regular practice, definitely your marks will reflect your hard work, which you have put in, right? So now I introduce and welcome Harshad Tekwani sir for the session, because he is the faculty for today's session and he'll be taking you through the journey of auditing subject. Very important topics he is going to cover. Harshad Tekwani sir is a chartered accountant and certified fraud examiner. He is having 12 years of experience in audit, assurance, governance and risk. He has vast experience in internal audit, forensic audit, statutory audit, risk management, process streamlining, cost assurance, and financial reporting. He has also delivered lectures and authored various articles at various forums. So, not taking much of the time, I welcome Harshad sir for the session. Harshad sir,
Yes,
kindly
ma'am.
teach our student this topic in a very interesting manner with the help of more of examples, right? Because as I mentioned earlier, that in this topic they were not able to perform up to mark. So my request to you that please handhold our students and prepare them in such a manner that if they are writing exam or if they are writing any question now itself, they are able to write the required and relevant answer. And I really want my each and every student who is attending the session should get exemption marks, because auditing is the subject where they are lacking. So please add practical insights with the help of examples. Of course, we have to cover the chapter, but dear students, don't try to complete the chapter in 1 day or 2 day. Whatever sir will be teaching today, you have to practice tomorrow also, and on Wednesday evening, when you are attending the session, you should be having knowledge that you have captured today, right? It should be in your mind. And then Wednesday, it will be complete. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you have to complete this chapter in effective manner, at least writing 7 to 8 questions or maybe more than that, so that, and of course you have to review that also, that what kind of mistakes you are doing, so that in the next session you can definitely ask Harshad sir, I have tried to write this question, I found this difficulty, but I was not able to correlate it with the question. How can I read in more effective manner, or where I am lacking for conceptual clarity, so I missed, I lose these marks. So please help me in that, so that if the practice is we have done this practice now onwards, in the main examination, definitely we will not be repeating this mistake and we will be getting good marks. Okay, so with this, if you have any doubt, you can please you can write to us, right, on auditing dash final at the rate ICAI.in, and definitely very soon you will be able to write the query through ask your query feature also, and last 15 minutes definitely we are going to interact with you again. So over to you, Harshit sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session. As ma'am said, it's very important for each and every one of you to pay attention and ask the queries, because the more you will ask, the more you will learn about the topic. See, uh, what you need to do is, today we will be starting the chapter with an a good case study. So we will go to the basics, we will understand from the basics, and on the basis of that we will understand the chapter. But throughout the session, as in the end of the session, you will get 15 minutes to ask your queries. So throughout the session, if you have any queries, jot it down, write it down, and when you get the last 15 minutes to ask your queries, please ask all the queries that you have written down, or you pointed out, so that the moment you will ask, you will get further clarity about the topic. And remember that once you will ask a query, you will remember that query till the time of exam, because you have asked it, you have understood it, and you will carry on that concept, that clarity till the time of exam. So please ask as much as possible queries are there, and you can ask multiple times, not an issue. Okay, so let's start with the chapter number 12, digital auditing and assurance. See, as the name suggests, digital auditing and assurance, we are talking about something in the digital world. Okay, we are talking about something with respect to the audit in digital world. You will see what is audit. You have seen some portion of the audit in the intermediate. Now you will see, when you will do the module 1 from chapter 1 to 7, you will understand in detail about the audit. But when you apply those concepts in the digital world, it's a digital auditing. Okay, and when you apply those concepts appropriately to audit either remotely or audit, from somewhere else, it's auditing digitally. We will go and understand in detail, but it's not something new altogether that we are learning. It is the audit. It is the core audit function that we are learning, but we are modifying it. We are tweaking it for the digital environment, for the digital ecosystem which is there. Okay, now a simple case study. We will start with a simple case study and we will understand with that, like, what is a digital environment, digital ecosystem, and how we can extend the auditing principles in that particular ecosystem or environment. Okay, now on a daily basis, basically, if I talk about, in a daily basis, you have seen multiple applications on your mobile, from where you order things, where you purchase things. Okay, let's say there is something similar, a Quick Cut Private Limited, a company which has an application on your mobile. Okay, where you can order anything, like, in minutes, and it is coming to your household. It can electronics, whatever it is. Now, it is a digital ecosystem, digital app. Okay, and that company has an app where you order, so you are a customer for the company. Now, let's say, for example, you are given an opportunity to audit this company. You become the auditor of this company now. Okay, you become the auditor of this company now. Now understand that the particular customer who is there, who place an order, is somewhere else. He's not coming to a physical location to place an order. Order is being captured by an application which is there on the mobile. Okay, payment is made by the catalog or the price which are there on the application on mobile, which is being shown. Okay, and once the payment is done, order goes automatically to the warehouse or the dark store. From there, a guy picks up the order and gets you the order at your place. So everything happens one by one automatically. The moment I place my order, I click on add the item and place the order. The payment goes, the order goes to the dark warehouses and dark stores, and from there I get my order. And see, behind this particular cycle, from placing an order to getting delivered, there are 10 different systems which are working, like your inventory system, your sales system, your payment systems, every at multiple places within that 10 minutes. Earlier, what used to happen is, when a particular sale, if I talk about a normal company, sale will happen. Okay, then after some times you will pass the entry of sale, then there will be data, then there will be collection. Okay, and there will be inventory, dispatch, all those things, grn. You might have seen a lot of things in manufacturing entity, but in these kind of quick commerce company, everything is happening within that 10 minutes. Sale, goods dispatch, okay, inventory update, pricing updates, then your sales recording, then after that, payment recording, payment reconciliations, and not even a single payment reconciliations, like some payment goes to the for the goods, for the inventory, some for the commission. And then at the same time, within that same 10 minutes, okay, the driver or the delivery partner also gets his commission on his mobile, that okay, this is your commission for this delivery, and expense are booked for that particular commission within that span of 10 minutes. See the number of the transactions which are taking place within the span of that 10 minutes in a particular, on that too through app, automated, everything automated. So the commission is fixed for the delivery partner based on the kilometers. The app calculates, the system calculates the kilometer. Based on your order, there are charges. Then, accordingly, charges are being divided. A lot of things happen. So now the entire business, entire set of transaction is getting completed automatically in 10 minutes. Okay. Now, if that is happening, you need to understand that entire ecosystem or the systems which are involved in that particular application to audit that. Yes or no? I need to understand that entire ecosystem, entire scenario to audit that. Let's say, for example, some numbers I have here that, the turnover for the company for a particular financial year is 1,260 crores. Okay. And if I talk about this much of turnover, obviously it's a very huge turnover. You need to understand each and everything in appropriate detail. Over there, we will apply the concept of the audit in the digital environment. There are systems involved that the system automatically calculates the revenue, the system automatically calculates the sales, the system automatically calculates the commission. Now I need to audit that particular system so that I can understand in that 10 minutes whatever is happening is appropriate or not. And when I say I need to audit that system, it's nothing but your digital audit. What is digital audit? Digital audit is placing assurance on the effectiveness of the IT system. It's IT system here in our example that we are talking about. It's nothing but a quick cart app. For our example, it's a quick cart application on your mobile. But in reality, is the application only system involved? Answer is no. In front of you, there will be one system. There is a one application on your mobile. But in actual, is there anything in background? So yes, for each and every application, there are things, there are layers involved. Okay, let's understand that. So when you see a particular front application, okay, front app, which is usually in the technical terms is known as front end, front application or mobile application. This application is connected basically with other applications also. So it cannot only work in an independent way. So there are some other applications like a database where all the sales, all the pricing, all the commissions, all the name of delivery partners, all the product names, all the warehouses name, everything is stored. Basically where the data sits. Okay. Now, there is another application usually in the picture, which is known as your engine. Kind of you can say it's a computer, advanced system, which calculates everything. So a calculation engine, or you can say it is usually in terms of the IT, it is known as a backend. A calculation engine where every calculation happen. That okay, if someone is buying this item, okay, what is the commission that is required to be paid to the delivery partner? How much is required to be recorded in the sale? Which warehouse is required to be selected for the purpose of delivery. So what happens is when you place an order, this particular application that we have, it communicates with the database communicates with the engine send back the all the details on your app, and that happens on a real-time basis. This cycle happens on real-time basis. So request will go, it will fetch the data, it will get the data, it will do the plus and minus calculation, and it will give the output to the front end, whatever application you have on your mobile. Okay, on a real-time basis, as and when you click on your application, this thing happens. Now, if I audit only this part, then it is not sufficient, because the calculation is happening on the back end, not on the front mobile application. Okay, so I need to audit that particular engine also. Let's say there is a car. If you see a car, okay, there are seats, there are outer body, a lot of things is there. But what makes a car run. So what is the scene, what is the particular part or the main component in the car which makes the car run? It's engine. Yes. So in order to check what is the capacity of the car, how much good car is, how you can say powerful the car is, you will go and check the engine. Okay. Similarly, to check or to audit, I need to check the backend calculation engine, which is the IT systems we are talking about. So when I talk about IT system, it is not only the app you are seeing on the mobile on your front end. Okay, this is the IT system, is this entire ecosystem we are talking about. So when we talk about IT system, it is the entire ecosystem we are talking about. Entire IT system, or you can say ecosystem, IT ecosystem. Okay, this is the entire IT ecosystem. Now, when we say digital auditing, okay, when we say digital audit, that means we are placing assurance on the IT systems that the calculation engine, the front end, the database, they are working in a good manner, or in the manner they should or they were required to work. For example, let's say if you click on an app, okay, let's say you want to buy a biscuit or a soft drink. Okay, if you click on the soft drink, and if the app, instead of adding the soft drink, adds the ice cream, it's a problem. Okay, so if I want to order a soft drink, if I add a soft drink, and if I get in my cart ice cream instead of soft drink, or instead of the price which was shown in the earlier screen, in cart I get something different price, the problem is there. Okay, so I need to see how effective all these systems are working, and that's what the digital audit is about. Digital audit is placing assurance on the effectiveness of those systems. When I say this system is working good, I am placing assurance on that. And if I say that I can only say after the audit that I have performed. That's a digital audit. After doing the digital audit, I am saying, no, this system is working good. Now I can place assurance that this system is working effectively. That's the part. Technology today is everywhere. As I said, in a small application also. Okay. So you need to place assurance. You need to get comfort of this particular entire system. Then only you can get the comfort over the numbers, the reports, the financial statements which are there. From where financial statement for this particular company will come? From this database only. This is a database from where the numbers will come and FS will be prepared. Okay, so this database will contain all the numbers, and from where the numbers will be taken and your financial statements will be prepared, and from where the numbers go in the database. So the calculation engine sends the number into the database. Whenever you do anything on the front mobile application sends that data to the calculation engine, after calculating the order, place the data into the database, and then shows that, okay, whatever the order is accepted, it will be delivered in some time. So this is where the data sits, and this is the thing which decides what data should go inside. Okay, now when I talk about quick cart or this kind of services, okay, this kind of application or scenario, I have a simple flow chart to make you understand, okay, what and how systems work. See what happens when a customer places an order. Mobile application captures the order. So I have one mobile application over there. Mobile app. I'm just identifying the IT systems as of now. Then pricing and discount engine validates the price. backend, okay, the calculation engine. Now there can be multiple calculation engine, one for discount, one for pricing, one for delivery, like that way. Okay, so multiple engines can be there. So let's say discount system. Now then that particular backend checks, do we have the inventory? So there is an inventory module involved, another application. Then if yes, then what happens is, okay, now I will authorize the person, or I will allow the customer to make the payment. Otherwise it will show you notify or out of stock. If the inventory is not available, it will show you out of stock. If the inventory is available, then only it will allow you to add, and that happens within the fraction of second. Okay, if it allows you to add, that means over there the payment gateway comes into the picture, another application. Okay, once the payment is done, there is an order management system which captures the order. So order management system, OMS generally, which captures the order. Then it sends back to the warehouse. Now, as we said, we already have an inventory module which governs or which kind of looks for the warehouse system. Okay, so we already have an inventory module. Then similarly, whatever sales has happened from this order management system, the ERP generates a tax invoice, because sometimes it can be B2C, like business to customer. It can be B2B, where you need to pass on the GST credit to the business. So for that, you need to generate, for each and every sale, you need to generate tax invoice, GST bills. Okay, so you have a ERP billing system in picture then. Okay, now sales data goes to the system. General ledgers are involved, your ERP system, your ERP general ledgers are updated for revenue, GST, receivables, because behind each and every sale, you collect the GST. The app collects the GST from you, that has to be deposited to the central government. You might have already seen in the indirect tax. So that is also updated within that 10 minutes or even fraction of the second when the sale happens. So GST system or tax systems which are there, that are also updated on the real time basis. And then based on that, financial statement, management reports, like MIS kind of things are prepared out of it. Okay, see how many systems you have identified. If you have to count: 1 mobile app, 2 discount, 3 inventory, payment gateway 4, order management 5, inventory already done, ERP 6, tax 7, and if MIS reporting is done, then 8 different system in just placing one order on the app. Now the problem is, can you tell me what could go wrong in this? The risk which are involved in this entire system. What could go wrong? Now let's see what can go wrong in these scenarios. So I have a good table to make you understand. Okay. Now why we are understanding this? Because if you understand what can go wrong in a particular scenario, that's where you will understand the need of the assurance in that scenario and the effectiveness of that particular system. If you don't have a comfort on a system, that means this can go wrong. That means you cannot rely on this. Let's say order capture. Okay, when in the mobile app order capture happens, let's say if I don't have the effectiveness assurance on the effectiveness of mobile app, that I don't rely on mobile app, that mobile app is working appropriately, I have a problem over completeness and the validity of order data. I have a problem over unauthorized modifications on the application. What if someone is kind of, you are placing order but you are not getting it delivered? When you are trying to place an order, first you are shown at the price of 10 rupees and then it jumps to the 20 rupees. A simple fraud, if I have to show you in that, is behind each and every order, there was rupee 1 which was added at payment. Okay. At payment, rupee 1 was added silently. That means it was never appearing anywhere, just it was appearing when you were making the payment. So let's say when you are making the payment of 200, the the UPI or the credit card was getting debited for rupees 201, and this was done by some IT guy. What happened? Every order has a 1 rupee extra which was going to some other bank account, Now you will say, what is the problem with 1 rupee additional? Like, it's 1 rupee only. But if I talk about this 1 rupee order, okay, I'm talking about leading mobile app delivery. There is one of the leading mobile app delivery platform for the food. I'll not name it. It processes almost 55 to 60 million orders monthly. 55 to 60 million orders. Okay. So if I do this 55 to 60 million, if I do this, okay, then what will happen? So at that, for each and every order, I'm charging 1 rupee. That means this 55 to 60 million, or in other words, if I have to say to you, 5 CR orders or 6 CR orders, 6 crores orders every month. If I talk about on an average 5 crore orders every month, 1 rupee extra on each and every order, I have a revenue or a fraud of 5 crore in a month. So additional 5 crore rupees every month going to somewhere no one is aware, just because of rupee 1. Sometimes 1, 1.5, rounding off, even rounding off also. Sometimes the order is of, let's say, 199.67 and you get to final payment of 200. So this rounding off can be also a very big fraud. So when the order is captured, how can you say that there is no fraud involved? So reliance on the system, I need that reliance. If order capturing system goes wrong, I need to have some reliance, Otherwise, I cannot rely on the system. I cannot rely on the completeness and the validity of the order data. Even there could be a chance of duplicate orders. Very big issue. What if the pricing or discount system is incorrect? So it can show incorrect prices, it can show, incorrect discounts. Sometimes, what if, you might have heard somewhere that, a product was available, let's say there was a system glitch, and the product was basically let's say 1,000 rupees of products were available in just 100 or rupees 10 because of some system glitch. So that has happened because of system glitch. Orders are, products of rupees thousands, like mobile phones, were only available or showing at rupee 10 or rupee 100, and some people were able to order that also. Now there are these issues. So if there are orders, or if there is no one manipulating the systems, if you don't have a assurance on the system, how can you rely on that? That's where this digital audit comes into the place. And with that, we will understand what digital audit does. Digital audit basically, provides a confidence. Basically, provides the confidence that, okay, now you can rely on the system. There is an enhanced effectiveness and efficiency, basically. Okay. You can now rely on the system that the data is appropriate. That means if the data is appropriate, if you can rely on the system, that means you need to invest less time over there and more time somewhere else, because you already have the audit evidence and comfort now. You already have the audit evidence and comfort now. So now what you can do is you can rely somewhere else, and you can rely here and check something more, because now you have time. So if I talk about the advantage of digital audit, that means doing the audit of IT systems and then placing the reliance on the IT system. Okay. That means that if I do the audit of these systems, and then if I get the comfort, assurance on the effectiveness of these systems, once I do the audit and then I say, okay, this is good, this is good, this is good, that means placing assurance on effectiveness of IT system. I'm placing an assurance. The moment I say that, that means I now can focus on other area, because this is a system. If this works in this particular way, it will work in this particular way only. Now, again, AI, you will say, sir, AI works in a different way. For the same prompt, it can generate different answer. It's a different story. It's a different story. We will also discuss that. With the AI, what is it now, upcoming issues in the digital audit and, in digital environment. But right now, we will understand this as a standard IT system, which are code driven, logic driven. That means if you tell a system like a calculator, no matter how many times you do 1 plus 1, it will give you 2. No matter how many times you do 1 plus 1, it will give you 2. Have you ever raised a doubt on the calculator that no, it can show it? There could be a scenario that, okay, it is showing 1 plus 1 correct, but it can show 2 plus 2 wrong. Have you thought of anything like, okay, no, I have a doubt on calculator, I need to check each and every calculation? No, you say that 1 plus 1 is correct, the entire set of calculation, whatever you do on that calculator, will be correct, because it is running through a logic which is same every time. Logic validated ones, like 1 plus 1, it will work in a similar way for all the similar scenarios. So if I add two numbers, it will show me appropriately. Now, whether it is 1 plus 1, 2 plus 2, or x plus y, doesn't make any difference. You will not go and do 10 times a calculation, 10 different numbers, and then you will say, no, now I can place reliance on this calculator, this is working fine. No, even on the first try also you can come up like. So that is the assurance on the effectiveness you place. Okay, and that can become with simple one-time testing, and that saves a lot of time. You don't have to recheck each and every calculation that you perform on the calculator. Similarly, when a digital audit is done, now you have the assurance on the system. That means your effectiveness and the efficiency of the audit will be higher. Okay, effectiveness and the efficiency of the audit will be higher. Why? Because a lot of things which are happening automatically in the system, now you have a comfort on that. In our example, this recording of sales data over here, transfer of sales data, it was happening automatically. Yes or no? And this sales data was being recorded in the general ledgers. Accordingly, GST was being calculated and financial statements were being prepared. If I have a comfort till this point, I will have a comfort over here. That means now, instead of going and seeing that, okay, whether the sales data is getting transferred appropriately or not, whether the tax invoices are being prepared appropriately or not, whether the GST entries are being passed appropriately or not, That I am not required to see because I have a comfort on the IT systems. I already got my audit evidence for that particular area. Yes or no? And accordingly, now I will focus on other areas where the risk can be there. Risk of fraud, risk of, other, we will understand cyber risk, a lot of things are there. But now we will focus on other areas. So that will enhance your effectiveness and efficiency of the entire audit process. Okay. Then better audit quality. Yes, of course, because now you can do much more testing. You can, gather much more audit evidence in a very less time because you have a comfort over the system. Okay. What is happening over here is I have a much more audit evidence in this scenario. How? I have a comfort on this. After IT audit or after auditing the IT systems or the digital audit, after the digital audit, I have a comfort on this system or on this data. That means I have already audit evidence with me. I need audit evidence. Remember, sufficient and appropriate. If I have a sufficient and appropriate audit evidence already, that means now I have a time to gather more audit evidence in some other areas. That will enhance the overall audit quality. The more the audit evidence, okay, the higher the audit evidence, higher the audit quality. Okay, higher the audit evidence, higher the audit quality. Now I will have a higher audit quality when I will do a digital audit. When I will place reliance on the IT systems after testing them, I can say that now I have a very better quality of audit. Lower cost. Lower cost. Why? Lower cost. Reason because number one, I'm not required to check everything manually. Manually means simple example. When you do, okay, 10 plus 10 on a calculator, do you go and calculate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 plus 10? No, you don't do that. Why? Because now you rely on the technology. That means you have automated a process. Instead of counting 10 plus 10, you have automated something that saves your time. And saving the time also saves the cost of auditing. Similarly, if you bring a technology, if you automate the process, if you do it, instead of doing manually, if you now do through technology, this will save the cost of audit and shorten the time. And again, a lower cost will be there for that particular audit. Okay. So if you have at any point in time, if you guys have any doubt, what I will suggest is write it down. In the last 15 minutes, you will be given chance to ask your doubt. So at that point in time, we will discuss the doubt in detail. But as of now, just write it down, whatever doubts you get throughout the session. Okay. Now, better analytics again, because now you have a data which is in digital environment. Now you can give a code and can generate X number of reports from that particular data. So there's a better analytics which is involved. Improved risk assessment. Why? Improved risk assessment. Why improved risk assessment? Simple, because now I know what can go wrong in each and every area. I have already identified what can go wrong if I don't rely on these systems. If I get comfort over here, if I get a comfort on this system, like I have a comfort, that means I have kind of audited all these risks. I have added audit evidence for all this risk. So by identifying the system, I identified what risk is involved, and by identifying the risk, I can now target onto those risks which are more critical and get the audit evidence for that. So by identifying the systems, I identified the risk, and that made my risk assessment more appropriate. Okay, I can go and do a lot of testing on those systems immediately by just going on to the kind of system. For example, you will go and check, am I allowed to place an order for the out of stock items anytime, or do you, like, you will also check whether at any point in time whether system delivers me, or the front app allows a delivery without paying the order, without paying for the order. Or let's say I will place random order, and I will check whether the invoice which is getting generated is appropriate or not. If once it is working fine, it will always work fine on the same logic for the same given scenario, type of transaction. So I can now do a better risk assessment, because now I know that by automation, how I can understand the system where the risk lies. Okay, by understanding the system, now I understand where the risk is, and if I understand that, my risk assessment will improve. Clear? So if I talk about in simple terms, improved risk assessment, okay, improved risk assessments, enhanced and effective entire audit, better audit quality, okay, lower cost and better analytics are the benefits, okay, of your digital audit. And that's logically we understood. Yes or no? And if I talk about key features, you might already be knowing the key features of the digital audit. What digital, when I talk about key features, what it leads to, like what happens when you do a digital audit. Okay, what are the features of the digital audit? Simple. If I talk about, you have a confidence now, first of all, okay, that the digital audit basically allows the auditee to adopt the technological advancement. See, what happens is, why I say it allows the auditee. Let's say these entire systems are there, but tomorrow I say, no, your audit management system doesn't work, it's pathetic, your payment gateway is always providing the wrong data. Now you know where the problem is. That means, except for the payment gateway or order management system, everything is working fine. So I can implement those in much more detail. And if something is not working, I can change and implement another system. Let's say this inventory module discount system are of X company. Order management system is of Y company. Now I have a comfort. X company systems are working good. Let's go and buy a order management from them instead of Y. That means now I can embrace more technology as an auditee, as a company. I will be able to use the technology freely, because I know that, okay, till now, whatever I have implemented, the moment you do a digital audit, you have a comfort over the system. Uh, you can place an assurance on the system. That means systems are working good. So I am going in the right direction. As a company, it will allow me, or it will boost my confidence that now, okay, I have brought this app, 10 minutes delivery, everything is working fine. Now I can go to the next step. I can, do more advancement in the apps. Okay. Again, more reliable audit report. Why? Because we have just now seen the advantages. What are the advantages? Enhanced, effective, and enhanced effectiveness and efficiency, better audit quality, improved risk assessment, lower cost, better analytics. Because of all these things, you have a very good or more reliable audit now. The moment I say better audit quality, more reliable audit report, because after audit, you do provide a audit report. Savings in time, cost, and human effort. Yes, that's why we have the enhanced effectiveness and efficiency, coming from this entire system, entire digital audit. Standardized process, because now process can be, now what is standardized process basically? To give you an example, this flow chart. If I can place the entire process on the flow chart, and if someone place an order every time this flow chart, the process flows in this way only, it's a standardized way that it will not deviate from this flow chart. The process will work in this way only, no matter what. That's a standardized process. So once I implement the system, because as I said, if you do on calculator 1 plus 1, it will calculate in the same way. It will do calculation for 12 plus 10, 22 plus 33, like this way. Okay. So no matter what you add upon on your calculator, it will do the addition in the same way. There's a standardized process after bringing the technology. Comprehensive overview. Because of that only, because of this comprehensive overview, you have a better, analytics. Again, future for a digital strategy and informed decisions. Now, because of all those things that we have seen, it's a, you can take an informed decisions. It helps the company to take the informed decisions. Now, with a fraction of second, I can pull out the data. Let's say after, having this app, with the fraction of second, I can pull out the data and, see whether my orders are going or not going, or which items are being sold in which area, what is the top value order. Okay, all sort of permutation combinations analytics I can run, that will allow me to do more good analytics and informed decision. Okay, so this is digital audit. Are you understanding digital audit? Now we understood digital audit. Okay, now there can be some challenges also. I'm not saying there cannot be challenges in digital audit. There can be challenges. There can be some issues in the digital audit. Now what challenges can be? Let's understand. First of all, let's say I have this particular app. Okay, quick cart app. Now if I have to talk about challenges, okay, number one, I need people to update my application, my discount engine, calculation engine. So I need IT people. Okay, I need IT people. That is fine. So you need to find right people for the right process. You need to find right people for the right process. So you need to understand what systems you need. Like, okay, I need an order management system. I need a system for taxation. I need a system for this. So identification of a system, first of all, then you need the right people. Okay. What other challenges you can think of that can be there in the digital audit? Now, to audit the IT systems, I need people who can understand what is IT, who can understand how the IT works. So that is one part. Some people or some organizations, they go on implementing multiple systems. For example, they will bifurcate. Instead of single one order management system, they will bring three order management system. So initially, when they will prepare a plan, they will come up, no, 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 let's have three big systems, like they will work simultaneously and they will do here and there. The more the complex structure will be, the more difficult it will be to implement. So at the time of deciding, it may appear, let's say, for example, when they decided to launch the application, they said, okay, this is how the application should be. And these three things we will prepare and we will launch the application. But when they went to develop the application, they came to know, no, no. The initial design and diagram was very shallow. We need all these things over here. This diagram was very shallow, the plan we prepared in the start. So the planning which is done in the start may not be appropriate. Okay, they underestimate the change, that the change that will be there in the entire system will be very difficult. Okay. Then you need to understand, as a business also, like, companies needs to understand what systems they need, what are the right processes for the automation. Are they required to automate this entire process or not? For an app, like for this quick delivery commerce app, yes, they are required to automate. What about a manufacturing company who manufactures very big power plants? Do they need this kind of 10-minute delivery app? No. Do they need automation in the production quality check? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So you need to understand how much automation is required for this entire IT to ecosystem. And these are certain challenges. Data security, data privacy, sometimes it may happen there is a data breach, there is a hacking involved, or there is something, a cyber security risk is involved. So if you do everything automated, you bring up 10 different systems, chances of, cyber security risk increases. So these are some challenges in digital audit. And if I have to summarize, like, understand what business first of all needs, know what business benefits, okay, from the automation. If it is a, power plant manufacturing company, how much benefit it will get versus a quick commerce app. Okay, simple. Power plant manufacturing company versus quick commerce delivery app company. You need to understand that the level of automation that I need in the quick commerce delivery app company will be different than the power plant manufacturing company. And if we are manufacturing nuclear power plants, then people, as I said, you need right people for the processes. And at sometimes the changes can be difficult. That means initially I prepared a small diagram and then I decided, no, actually something are, required at a detailed level. We were wrong. Again, what processes you need to automate? You need a broader strategy, not a shallow one. Ensure your processes works. That means ensure that whatever you have created digitally, they work appropriately before you standardize the process. Test it. Like before launching the application, test your application whether it is working fine or not, or it is crashing in every 10 minutes. And then governance, data security, cyber risk, do not forget about that. Okay, so these are certain challenges that can be there in case of the digital audit. This was a brief understanding, I would say, of digital audit, because you need to, as I said, this is the understanding of the digital ecosystem. But when I talk about audit, you already have learned. You will learn audit further. You need to apply those concepts in the digital ecosystem that you now understood. Now, what we need to understand second is auditing digitally. Auditing digitally. Okay. Why we need to understand this auditing digitally? Now, let's go to our quick card example. In order to audit this entire process, okay, let's say for example, these systems are there. I show you one system. Can you audit them? The question will be, can you audit that system? Like, how will you audit that system? Okay, because sometimes auditing a system is very challenging, because if these are the digital system, at that point in time it becomes very difficult to audit a particular system. Now, if I show you one example, okay, I will show you a particular very good system, and then you tell me how will you audit that. I will show you a one system, and then you tell me how will you audit it. Let me show you the system. Again, this is just for your understanding an example. Okay, this is publicly available data, so I'm just showing you for an example. Okay, this particular is one small component. Like I'm in the code, the backend system of backend code of some systems I'm there. Okay, now these are some files you will see when you will go and understand system. Like when you will try to digital audit, you will see these kind of files. Okay, now if you will go, let's say for example, if I go in any of the file, I will see this kind of codes. How do I audit this? How should I audit this code? This is publicly available code, because these are certain components then which are embedded in the systems. If I have to, like, it's beyond my understanding, beyond our understanding. Like normally, it is something a IT person can understand. But again, you being an auditor, you have to audit this system. Yes or no? So, in order to audit these systems, you need to do something different. Otherwise, in a manual way, if you take a printout of the entire code, you will not be able to understand. What you will do, you will go and take a printout of the entire code, and you will do read and try to check where and what is wrong. No, that's not how the logic and things work. So over there, you need some softwares, some tools to help you audit fast in the IT environment. Auditing digitally means using the technology to do the effective and efficient audit. When I have to audit the systems, I need some systems which can help me to audit. Okay, I need some systems which can help me to audit. And that's where the auditing digitally comes. Now, if I talk about this auditing digitally, it's not something new. Again, it's not something new. If it is not something new, then what is actually this? Auditing digitally, when I talk about, it is nothing but your audit only, but with the help of tools and technology. Okay, with the help of tools and technology. Now, I have to apply the same concept. I have to apply the same concept which I have applied in the normal audits, but now I need to use those concepts. I need to, implement those concepts through softwares. That means earlier sample selection was done by me manually, or sometimes, high materiality, all those things. Now I will use the software to select the sample. But the logic is same. Materiality will remain same. Materiality will not change. Okay. Materiality will not change at all. So in this particular scenario, I will use simple materiality. Okay. All the simple concepts of the auditing that I have learned till now, and I will use those concepts with the help of softwares. So that's auditing digitally. So quickly come with me uh, on page number your 12.7, point number 2, auditing digitally. Okay. Auditing digitally is nothing but is you do the audit. Okay. Is using the advancement of technology for conducting the audit effective and in an efficient manner. Simple. For example, using sampling tools for selection of sample. So instead of, I selecting the samples, I will provide the entire data to my system and will ask him, okay, provide me the samples out of it by doing the sample selection automatically. So if I do that, I'm auditing digitally with the help of softwares. So now there are multiple technologies in the market which can help you to audit more efficiently. Okay. RPA, AI, blockchain technology, a lot of things are there. But I'm just showing you these technologies are there. And with the help of AI, now you can generate scripts of automated testing very easily. Okay. If I can generate, if I give a base data to the AI, if I ask them generate a, kind of VBA or Python or JavaScript, tool which can help me audit this particular, data quick, 5 to 10 minutes, and then 1 2 iterations, you will get the output easily. With the help of AI, now you can generate these tools, automations, and very quickly. A lot of you might have already tried, but yes, this becomes very easy. So you need to have expert who can understand these technologies. Okay. You need to know about these technologies. Now, what are the features and advantages of auditing digitally? What do you think? What benefit you will get by doing auditing digitally? Okay, by using these tools and softwares, what benefit you will get? So, if I talk about the benefits, first of all, improved quality. Why? Saves my time, makes the entire process easy, efficient, simple. If you want to understand, okay, what are the advantages? What are the advantages of auditing digitally? A simple way to that, simple. Uh, think of advantages of using calculator. Think of advantages of using calculator. Improved calculation. Now I can do a lot of things which if you have to do manually on, paper, was very difficult. Now multiplication, division, everything is improved. Similarly, improved quality of audits. Earlier, which you were doing manually, now you can do automated with less time. Your time, you have a lot of available time now, free time, which you can use, somewhere else to better understand the business that you are auditing. Okay, your quality will be evident that, with some within a few, you can say, hours, you can scan through the entire database. So this will help you improve quality of audits. Simple. What is the advantage of using calculator? Improved quality of calculation. Similarly, improved quality of audits. Decreased human dependency. Scientific calculators, think of like how complex scientific calculations they can do. Now you at times we might not be able to do manually, we might need a help of someone. Similarly, if you do audits through advanced tools and technology, it will decrease the human dependency. Simple example, in scientific calculations you can do log functions easily. That's where the scientific calculators are. Now if you have to do manually the log functions of some complex number, either you need to learn it or you need to bring a expert mathematician to perform the calculations for you. Similarly, when you want to do advanced testing, efficient testing, error free testing, you bring the systems into the place, you do audit through systems, and that decreases the human dependency plus increases your efficiency. Now increases transparency. Means, why transparency? Reason, because through systems you can understand how the data was taken, what it did, and what is the output. So just now we saw a source code, yes or no? Just now we saw a source code. Now based on that source code, you know what and how it will process the data. Based on that, it will be now transparent for you to understand, okay, every data, how it will be processed. You have a trace or trail available. In modern ERPs, now because of the Companies Act, all the ERPs requires your audit trail feature, yes or no? And with the audit trail feature, you can trace the transaction from end to end. And similar technology is blockchain. What is blockchain? You can trace the transaction, okay, from end to end. So if I want to trace a particular transaction, I can trace it very easily. From where it came, where it is going, what is happening, everything. Okay. So if I have to check for a particular transaction, if it is a blockchain, pretty much easy job for me. I can go and verify the entire chain of the transactions, and from that, each and every transaction. Just to show you an example. Again, this is publicly available data, just to show you for your example and understanding. This is what a blockchain is. So I can see from where what is happening. This is the particular transaction. From here to this transaction, every subsequent transaction, everything is there through a chain. See, these are the blocks of transaction. This is the entire chain which is available in the blockchain for the transactions. And I can verify. I can not only verify this thing, I can verify from where the funds are coming and to whom the funds are going. For example, this block I'm talking about. So these are the BTC which are being transferred from this person to this person. I can go to this person. I can see from where he got BTC, like what transaction he has done. This is the power of blockchain, that from each where I can see, okay, this is what is happening, from where the funds are coming and from where the funds are going. See, this funds came here from this particular ID. I can go back and see from where the funds come. This is the trail I'm talking about, in the blockchain. Similarly, in modern ERP softwares, this kind of trail is available. You can trace the entire transaction to its origin, and it can show that, okay, who posted it. Again, automation. Because it is now automated, it is a ease for me. Yes or no? So automation, and it has become ease. Again, improved efficiency, multiple times discussed. It will improve your efficiency. It will make your risk assessment better, because now you can focus on the critical risk areas and you can do a very quick test. Yes or no? So this is your auditing digitally. So you now have a good understanding of what is digital audit and what is auditing digitally. Okay. These are the two important concepts that we need to, understand to understand the entire chapter. Because once you understand what is digital audit and auditing digitally, now we have to expand these concepts and we have to build our understanding on these concepts, like what happens when we do digital audit, what happens when we do auditing digitally. Okay, so by expanding these concepts we will understand the rest of the area also. Okay, so when I talk about basically digital auditing digitally, there are 10 different softwares available in the market. There are 10 different softwares which are available in the market. Question comes is, am I required to use each and every software for my audit? Should I use each and every software for my audit or should I not? So the answer to that is, you need to first understand which software you want to use for which problem. What is the problem basically? If you want to use blockchain, what is the problem that you want to solve? You will say that, no, sir, we want to implement blockchain based auditing software because we want to make the work paper automation. Like we want to prepare our work papers automatically. Doesn't make sense. You don't need a blockchain software for making automation in your work papers. You will say, sir, no, we want to bring blockchain softwares for the audit so that we can send the data confirmation easily. How? So what problem you are trying to solve by bringing the software into the picture? Understand that, and then understand which technology will help you in what manner. So simple, if I talk about, blockchain can help me in different manners, but can blockchain help me to develop my working papers? Yes or no? So these are certain questions that you need to ask before you implement a software or before you go for auditing digitally. Okay, so these are certain questions that you need to understand or answer before you proceed and you say that, no, okay, now basically let's do auditing digitally from tomorrow onwards. But first answer these things. These things are what problem you are trying to solve. Means, let's say, for an example, for work paper automation, can I use blockchain technology? No. My problem is work paper automation. Blockchain will not help me. Rather, the correct technology will be for this is RPA. Similarly, which technology can help you? Second answer, this one. So RPA can, or let's say now for advanced one, AI can help you. RPA slash AI can help in work paper automation. How will you upskill your people to make best use of the technology? I bring RPA, I bring AI, but in my team, no one is aware how to use it. You have seen ChatGPT, you have seen Gemini, Claude, a lot of AI softwares. But if people in your team, they are not trained to use that software, what is the purpose of bringing the software? So how to train? How to train your people? What you will do? What things you will do so that your people can use the software? And what options do you have? Let's say I selected AI. Okay, fine. I will use AI. Which AI? Okay. Which AI software you will use? ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. These are not the AI. ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, they are not the AI. They are the companies or the product which are using the large language models. But there are various large language models available in the market. There's a list of large language models which are available in the market. And when I talk about large language models, those are AI. Almost, if I talk about right now in 2026, few days ago, we got a new model K3 by Kimi. Yes, K3 Kimi is a new model, AI model that has launched. So Claude Opus, Fable 5, GPT 5.3, GPT 5.5. So, Claude Sonnet, or you can say various different models are there. DeepSeek R1. So these are the AI models that you can use to automate. And not every model is for, not AI, not every AI can do the work paper automation. For example, Nano Banana model of Gemini, it is good in the image generation. If I use that AI of image generation, Mid Journey AI model is good for the image generation. If I use that model for my work paper automation, what output I will get? Instead of work papers, I will get image as an output. So you need to understand and what solutions do you have, what options do you have, and whatever is the best, you need to select that. So these are few questions that you need to answer before you decide auditing digitally and select these softwares. Clear? Any doubt? If you have doubt, write it down, because in the end 15 minutes you will be able to ask your questions, and I want you to ask the questions at that point in time. Okay, so jot down your doubts, and let's take a quick 10-minute break. After the break, we'll continue the session and discuss further. Let's take a quick 10-minute break. Sanket ji. Sanket ji. Break start. Shall we continue? Hello everyone, welcome back. Let's continue the session. So we were discussing about auditing digitally and digital audit. We understood the entire concept. Now we will move further. As I said, that in order to understand, let's say you want to perform digital audit. That means you will do first audit of the systems. You will, understand the entire IT environment, and then you will go for, placing the reliance on these systems. Let's go back to our example, like this quick card. Now over here, we identified what are the systems involved. So then only we will proceed ahead and will do the relevant audit. Yes or no? So first of all, I need to understand what is the IT environment. If I want to place the assurance on the effectiveness of the IT systems, again, what is in simple terms digital audit? Digital audit has some components. Like if you see the definition, okay, or explanation of the digital audit, what it says very important. You have to place assurance on the effectiveness of the IT systems which are implemented, okay, in an organization. So IT systems implemented. These are the three things. Placing assurance on the effectiveness of the IT systems. Now, in order to place the assurance, I cannot tomorrow go directly and say, let me place assurance on this system. No. I cannot go directly and say, let me place assurance on this system. Let me place assurance on this system. No. First of all, you need to identify how many systems are there. The way we did in this example, we identified the number of systems. Okay, we have 8 systems. Yes or no? This is what we did. Identification. We identified the systems. That's what you need to do. You need to identify the system. So step number 1, identify the system. Now, how will I identify? I will list down all the systems. In terms of audit, we do not say identify the system. What we say, there is a standard on that also. When it comes to the audit, you do not say I need to identify the system. You say understanding the IT environment. Yes or no? There's a standard on that. Which standard? SA 315. Okay. What SA 315 says? Identifying and assessing the risk of material misstatement through entity and its environment. And when I talk about entity, its environment, the environment of the entity includes the IT systems also. Okay. So when I say auditor needs to understand the entity, its environment under SA 315, over there, along with the entity, the auditor is required to understand the IT environment. What are the IT systems, information systems related to business processes, relevant to the financial reporting and communication. Auditor is required to obtain understanding of the information systems. This is not something I'm bringing from some new background. No, we are talking about the SA 315. So when I talk about digital audit, for understanding, for placing the reliance, placing the assurance on the effectiveness of the IT systems, we need to step number 1, do is understand the information systems. We need to understand the information system. And how we do that? We do that through SA 315. We apply the concepts of SA 315, and to be precise, para 18 of SA 315, which explains you how you need to understand what you need to do. So SA 315 already provides you step-by-step procedures, or things that you need to understand. For your reference, let me have SA 315 over here. What SA 315 says? That as an auditor, okay, auditor shall obtain the understanding of the information systems, including what? The classes of transactions. Okay, classes of transactions in the entities operations that are significant to the financial statement. Understand which operations are there through IT systems, procedure, or information system and manual, like how transactions are initiated, recorded, processed, corrected, transferred to the general ledger, and reported in the financial statement. Simple. This is the, if I have to talk about an example, this is nothing but process flow of quick cart. Once you understand this process chart, this is the understanding as per SF 815 you need. Oh, sorry, 315. My mistake. So this is required as per SA 315 para 18B. Understand how the transactions are working. This flowchart is prepared for that only. You can use that flowchart for that. So either when you go for the audit, when you prepare these kind of flowchart, you prepare because SA 315 says. Or if you don't know, then whatever the pointers are there, you have to gather information to understand that, and that will give you sufficient information. You need to understand related accounting records supporting information that are used to initiate, record, process, report transaction. Information systems, you need to understand how information system capture events and conditions. You need to understand financial reporting processes that are used to prepare entities financial statement, and controls surrounding the general entries, non-general entries, all those things. Now, if I talk about this one, how information system captures the information. In simple terms, again, the process flow we have. Process flow shows that, like, how information system captures events and conditions other than transactions that are significant to financial statement. For example, order cancellation, because it should give me inventory back. Each and every event which is there, like how it captures. Payment failure, if there is a payment failure, stock updations, settlement data, all those things. Okay. Now, this is something we need to understand as per SA 315, and that's what also required for digital audit. Step number 1, understand the IT system. How? List is there. That's the bare minimum you need to do. So let's say, for example, you will prepare this kind of document or process chart. Like, okay, order capture, the customer selects the product, delivery address, payment mode, the mobile application assigns a unique order number. You will prepare this narrative. This is nothing but understanding the IT environment, what you see over here. Okay. This entire thing you are seeing is understanding the IT environment. This is after understanding. And you need to identify what IT systems are there. For example, quick cart app, order management system, warehouse management system, cloud ERP, payment gateway, Power BI dashboard, RPA bots, whatever it is used. What are they used for? Primary purpose. What is the use of that particular software? What is the nature? It's a cloud application, packaged software, hosted on private cloud, SAP-based ERP software, Power BI dashboard, software bot. So what is the nature of that? Audit relevance. Like why it is relevant for my audit. For example, RPA bot. It uses the bank statement and ERP ledger to perform the daily bank reconciliations. Okay. So you need to understand the IT systems. Why, for what purpose they are used, why they are used, how they are used, all these things. Okay. How the information system captures all these things, you need to understand, and accordingly you gather the understanding of the IT systems. This is just start. This is not something, the only thing you need to do. No. To gather the understanding, you need to follow the entire SA 315. But this is just, for reference purpose, I'm showing you para 18. It is the starting point. So understand the IT. That's a step number one. Prepare a list, do everything that is required. Okay. So understand the IT. It is nothing but the step number one for your digital audit. Otherwise, how will you place a reliance when you even, place assurance on the effectiveness of the IT systems when you are not aware about what IT systems are there? Okay. You need to understand them, you need to identify these systems, and you need to then assess. Assess means you will ask, you will test, and you will ask the question, can I place assurance or not? Understand, identify, and then assess. Yes or no? So that is assessing, identifying, understanding, and assessing the IT system. Okay. So basically, in simple terms, if I say you will ask, in case of our quick cart, to identify all this information, you will ask which system initiate the transaction, which system authorize the transaction, which system calculates the amount, which system records it, which system prepared the reports. Initiate, authorize, recording, process, and reporting. All these phases of a particular transaction. Okay. So simple, if I talk about, in order to understand the IT systems, you pick up a transaction, okay, and understand the, let's say I picked up a particular this transaction, and I need to understand a key term called IARP R. That is initiation, like how it is initiated, how it is authorized, how it is recorded, processed, and reported. If you answer all these questions, if you get all the answers of these particular, IARRP, you will understand the system. Okay, you will definitely understand some bit of system, and then you can document in a way. See, this is the illustrated illustration below given how you need to prepare the IT metrics. This is IT documentation metrics. Similarly, I have here for the quick card over here. Same, like different example illustrations are given. Clear? So, as I say, you to understand the IT system, there are 5 elements we discussed: initiation, authorization, recording, processing, and reporting. If you understand it, very good. You will understand in a good way the entire IT system. Now, that is only first part. Understanding, as I say, step number 1, you need to identify. And then you need to understand this particular portion of that particular system. Now, once I identify, once I understand the information system, and in that particularly I identify the information system, this is identification. Okay, the next step goes to is how like I identified the system, fine. What are the problems? What could go wrong in these systems? Okay, what could go wrong in these particular system? So step number 2, what could go wrong in IT systems? And there is a term for this. Okay, there is a term for this in SA 315. So SA 315, okay, which talks about understanding the entity and its IT environment. Something we say that when you need to identify what could go wrong in IT systems, it is said as identifying and assessing the risk of material misstatement. Risk of material misstatement, what could go wrong? Identifying and assessing the risk of material misstatement, that auditor needs to do. Okay, that is something auditor needs to do. Auditor needs to understand that what can go wrong in a particular system, which can affect potentially pervasively to my financial statement, which can create a scenario that my financial statement is entirely wrong. That is step number 2. And we did that in our example. Principal audit concern, it's nothing but what can go wrong. Kind of, you can say what can go wrong, because completeness and validity of the data order, incorrect pricing, these are some issues. And sometimes we have to document it in more detailed way. I will show you that in a while, but understand that as of now, that yes, this is something that could go wrong in a particular system. What if there is incorrect price master? What if there is a negative inventory in a particular system? Okay, warehouse is recording negative inventory, stock reserved twice, inaccurate stock update. false success status. That means even when the payment failed, order was not processed, still it is showing success. Dispatch without invoice, like entire transaction got recorded but invoice was not generated, GST was not recorded, incorrect quantity, incorrect GST or invoice amount. There are certain items on which GST is not applicable. If, let's say, for example, if they are into the essential category, let's say GST is not applicable. And if that person orders that item with other item where GST is applicable and the system applies GST on all the items, then incorrect GST. Omitted or duplicate or incomplete transfer, incomplete reports. So these are some certain problems that can go wrong in a particular system. That is, you need to understand. That is your step number 2. First, understand the flow of the transaction, from where what is happening. Understand the significant systems. Okay, that comes in the step number 1. Then understand what can go wrong. Now, some of you might have a question, sir, how to identify what can go wrong? Is there any guidance given on that? Yes, there is. It's not something that we are saying arbitrarily. To identify the risk which are there in the IT systems, you need to understand the type of risk. Okay. To understand the risk which are coming in the IT system, you need to understand, to get this particular information, you need to understand type of risk that can arise in IT systems. Okay, there are few type of risk which can arise in IT system. One, if I talk about type, type of risk. So basically, one particular type of risk which is there is like type is that risk arising from the use of IT system. Okay. So one such risk is risk arising from use of IT systems. How? You will ask, sir, how it is possible? How a risk can arise when I am using the IT systems? So systems are used so that I can do it appropriately, fast. I can do with efficiency. But how by using IT systems, risk can arise? Yes, there can be. For example, unauthorized access. When I use the system, I get access to the areas where I shouldn't get access. Or somehow some persons have access to the systems, okay, like where they shouldn't get the access. For example, critical code, pricing table, like where the price of all the products are there. So what if someone is having unauthorized access to data? This is because of the use of IT systems. The IT system is being used in such a way that it has unauthorized access to the data. Second, it may result in super user access. What is super user access? Privilege access, kind of. Okay, why privilege access? See, reason because super user or privilege access are these kind of access, they are super admin. They are super admin kind of nature. Okay, they can do anything they want in the system. So sometimes super user privilege access or super admin access is are being granted to the people who are not required to have it. This is because of the use. By using, let's say, someone, the IT person who wanted to give access, he gave some, he provided the access to someone else incorrectly. Unauthorized changes. That someone makes a change to the IT system by using it. Let's say, for example, I was showing you earlier example of code. Let's say I was not aware that I had the write access or edit access, and by mistake I do the edit of a particular code. Entire system will go down because of error. That is unauthorized changes that is being done to the system. Failure to update. IT systems. Most of you have Android updates, yes or no? Security updates on your mobile. Sometimes they do break your mobile also, but that's another story. What if you do not update? So at a lot of times when you do not update your mobile systems, Android systems, or security, patches on your mobile, there are chances that there are something that might not work appropriately. Simple example: a lot of companies, what they do is, once they launch a mobile, some people at that point in time say that cameras are not working good. So companies then provide a software update on the camera of mobile, and through that software update, then camera quality improves. Battery performance. So because of some software updates, sometimes happen that battery performance degrades. So they provide another software update to improve the battery performance. Some examples I'm giving you, real life examples. Similarly, if you fail to update your IT systems the way you do, let's say for example, you fail to update software on your iOS or on your Android, you might not get better battery performance or camera updates, or better securities. Similar, it works into the IT systems. If you do not update it, there are chances someone might use a loophole which is not being fixed because you have not applied the update, and they can hack into your system and destroy the data. So failure to update IT system, it's a risk. Then manual intervention. What is manual intervention? Manual intervention, in our example, everything was happening automatically. Okay. Let's say, for example, if someone has an access to do manual intervention in that particular order, like someone can go and add into your cart on your behalf from the company, or they can change the invoice, or they can stop processing in between itself. Manual intervention. Best example: blocking an account of a customer. It's a manual intervention. Someone might go and block an account of a customer because of violation of certain policies. What if when that manual intervention is done incorrectly? Let's say when someone places a very big order and you block it, and after suddenly placing the order, payment is done, and you block the account. No delivery happens. The person cannot log into the device. He cannot see his order. He cannot have any details. He cannot contact anyone. Account is blocked, but he made the payment for the order which he has not received. Manual intervention. Then data loss or corruption. So database, you lose the data from the database because of XYZ reason. System downtime. That means your app is not working. Sometimes you might have seen, some applications are down. You go on other application and check whether the application is down or not. So system downtime, your application might not work. In that case, there is one more risk is integration. In our example, we saw that multiple systems were interconnected. Okay, so inventory module was connected with payment was connected with OMS, because they have to work in a sync, in a flow, that once the order is being placed, one by one, each system has a role to play. They have to play that role. What if there is a problem between these systems? What if the discount system cannot pass the discount to the payment gateway or to the order management system? That means at the time of payment, let's say for example, hypothetical example, there's a bug in the discount system that discount data is not passed to order management system. Do you know what will happen in this scenario? So data is going to the payment gateway. So from here, this is going to the payment gateway, means payment will happen appropriately. But the invoice that will be generated, because order management system is directly working on the invoices and GST. So the invoice that will generate will not show discount. Means you will collect less amount, you will have a higher invoices. Just because of small bug that the discount system is not passing this particular data to the order management system, and order management system is not passing to the ERP model because it never had the data. And these are the real life scenarios I'm telling you. These are the bugs that we have seen. Okay, that some systems were not integrated appropriately, and that caused a very big error. For example, over here on payment gateway, payments were made at absolute amount. But when the invoice was being generated over here in the order management system, a rounding formula was, rounding off all the invoices to the nearest rupee. As a result, there was a huge difference. As I said, one example that I gave you, a leading quick commerce application processes on an average 5 crores to 6 crores order in India per month. Just imagine how much rounding off can create very you can say reconciliation between two data set, that the payment has been received less and invoices are being generated more, and the overall accumulation can even go beyond your materiality. See, what was our materiality? 6.5 crore, and by rupee 1 this can be breached very easily if we have that much number of orders. So that is the reality. A small issue at one particular place can create havoc, and that's where you need to understand this is a risk, IT risk, integration. So these are certain risks arising from the use of IT systems. Okay, so these are certain examples of that how the use of IT system can generate risk in real scenarios. In your study material, we just now covered key areas for auditor to understand IT system. Understand the flow of transaction. We just now saw how the transaction is initiated, how the transaction is authorized, how the transaction is recorded, processed, and reported. That's where you need to focus. relevant flow of the transaction, how the transaction is flowing, significant IT systems, which systems are involved, number of systems. Now, point number 3, 4, and 5, we will come in a while. Okay, but these are certain steps. As I say, this is only start. We need to come on to different points. So now what we are understanding, after understanding the flow, after understanding the system, we are understanding the risk that are arising from the use of IT. As I said, there are multiple type of risk. Okay, from IT. One is the risk arising from the use of IT systems. Those are unauthorized access to the data, gaining privilege access, unauthorized changes to the IT applications, failure to make update, inappropriate manual intervention, data loss or corruption, risk of system downtime, system integration. Just now, a bug we saw. So, for example, bug of discount system. Write it so you can remember. Okay, this will help you to remember what we are talking about. Okay, now these are certain risks which are arising from the use of IT. Here, and that's where you need to understand the IT systems. Okay, now let's go back. The second type of risk that we need to understand is cyber risk. But as of now, we will wait. I'll do a strict mark. Wait for the cyber risk. We will take up a cyber risk in detail. Don't worry on that. But we will understand. See, from where we started, a quick recap of everything. From where we started? We started from digital audit. Digital audit, step number 1. Understand the information system, where you need to first do the identification of the system. Okay, like we went to SA315. Step number 2, what can go wrong? Type of risk. Okay, along with identifying the system, we also understood the flow of the transaction. Flow, that is how it is initiated, how it is recorded, how it is processed, how it is corrected, transferred, and reported. So remember the part we saw: initiated, authorized, recorded, processed, reported. Simplified version. Okay. Similarly, over here, initiated, recorded, processed, reported, including authorization. So you need to understand this along with the identification of the IT system, the flow, significant flow. Then we went to what could go wrong in the IT systems. Okay. And then we understood the type of risk. What could go wrong is nothing but the risk. And we understood there are two risks: risk by using the IT system, and there is a cyber risk. Now, there is something more we need to understand. Step number 3. Understand or understand and identify a very critical part. A very critical part, which is known as an IT dependencies. What are IT dependencies? IT dependency is a simple thing you need to understand is, for example, let's go to our softwares. Your quick cut app. Let's say your this quick cut app Okay, is an Android or iOS app? Yes or no? It will run on mobile, Android mobile or iOS mobile. Can this application run without Android or iOS? Can you make this application run without Android or iOS? Let's say in my mobile there is no Android, there is no iOS. I just want to run quick card app. I just want to have this app on mobile without having Android or iOS. Not possible, because these are IT dependencies. That means these are required in order to run the application, but we never listed Android or iOS in our list. When we were identifying the systems, we never listed Android or iOS. See, if you go and list each and every, like Android, then Android dependencies and all those things, it will be a very big list. So when we say IT systems, we have to identify the critical component, critical IT systems which are there, which are being used by the entity. Okay. Now let's say, for example, SAP. You need Windows or Mac to run the front end of the SAP. So SAP, or let's say, for example, if I simplify, simple ERP, Tele. 90% of you might be aware what is Tele ERP. Now to run the Tele, you need Windows. Now what is IT software out of the Tele ERP and the Windows? Obviously the Tele ERP, because that is the one which is impacting my financial statement from the audit perspective. Windows is not preparing my financial statement. Tele is preparing my financial statement. That's why Tele ERP is the IT software. Okay, IT system that I need to understand. However, when I talk about Windows on which that particular ERP is running, that Windows is your dependency, IT dependency. Okay. Similarly, I need to identify what are the IT dependencies that are impacting my systems, IT systems. There can be multiple type of IT dependencies. Okay. So there can be automated controls. There can be reports, calculations, securities, interface. A lot of things can be there. And what is the role of these dependencies? What they do? These dependencies help basically. So if I talk about Android, what Android will do? Android will help in IARPR. Android will help the quick cut app. Okay, will help the IT systems to perform this. So Android will help the IT system to perform the initiation, authorization, recording, processing, and reporting of the transaction. Similarly, Windows, because see, certain of the softwares, they are softwares, yes, but they need dependencies to, in order them to facilitate this entire flow of the transaction. Okay. So these are certain dependencies that we are talking about. Like, if I talk about dependencies, let's say controls, they help initiation of the transaction, recording of the transaction, authorization of the transaction. Reports help creating a report of the transaction. Calculations, they are not IT systems. No. Is a calculation logic IT system? No. They are IT dependencies. So what are the IT dependencies? They can be automated controls, reports, calculations, security, interfaces, connections between two softwares. These are dependencies. Okay. So if you can come on the page number 12.15, we have the list of IT dependencies. Automated controls, reports, calculations, securities, and interfaces. A similar and a easier way to remember this is ARC-SI. Okay, ARC-SI. You can say that. Okay, ARC-SI IT dependencies. That is automated controls designed in IT environment. Okay, for example, that without payment, no order should be placed. Automated controls. In our quick cut example, no order without payment. It's in control, IT dependency. Reports, MIS reporting. So different MIS reports that can be prepared. Calculations, discount, GST. I'm not talking about the discount engine, but the logic of the calculation. So here we are talking about calculation logics or procedure. Security, as I said, security sometimes is there in the application itself, sometimes it is there in the IT environment. For example, uh, when your every Android or iOS mobile has this lock feature, biometrics or pin lock. So this pin lock or biometrics, it is at the Android or iOS level. So security is there at the Android or iOS level. Also, there could be a specific, again, password requirement for your application, like banking applications. So when you try to log in on your bank application on your mobile, you need to enter another password. Dual security layer. Yes or no? So security can only not be in the application, but at the IT dependency level also. So security. So for simple example, mobile lock. Interfaces. What is interface? Our best example that we discussed, discount data that going to your order management system for billing. Now see, there is one system which is sending the data to another system, but how the data is transferring between them, it is that is interface. Okay, it is not a person that is taking data from this and giving data to that particular system. No, there's an automated transfer, but through some medium, through some channels or protocols, the data is being transferred. Simple example, when you access the internet, when you type www.google.com or whatever, okay, so you are sending a request and the data is coming to you. How the data is coming? It is not coming in the air. There is something called a protocol. The way data should be sent and the way the data should be received, protocol. And that protocol is followed to receive the data, which is generally known as HTTPS. Okay. To send a file from one system to another, a different protocol is followed or procedure is followed, which is known as FTP. Okay. Now, basically, these are different protocols. These are different you can say terminologies which are there. Nowadays, it is more advanced. Okay, FTP over SSL, SSH file, a lot of things are there, different protocols. So these are ways or method to transfer the data. And this is interface. One system might send the data, but how other is receiving? Is it in the same format? Is it in the required format? How the data is getting transferred? So that is interface. The logic that transfers data from one system to another. And even within system, from one ledger to another ledger. So these are certain IT dependencies. You need to understand IT dependencies. Okay. Now, if I understand the IT dependency, if I understand, okay, these are the IT dependencies, you can have another question. So the way we had the risk in the IT systems, can we have a risk in the IT dependencies also? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. So now you are not only required to consider the IT dependencies, but step number 4, which will come into the picture, is evaluate the risk associated with IT dependencies. Okay, because the way we understood the IT systems and their risk, similarly, we need to now understand the IT dependencies and their risk. Okay, and there can be multiple risks involved. Risk of unauthorized access, risk of user is not terminated on timely basis. There's a risk that the applications are not monitored. There's a risk that the transaction is not being monitored. Security policies are not maintained. Access to operating system is not restricted. Okay, these are risks. How do you mitigate those risks? Once you understand the risk, how do you mitigate those risks? Yes, no. So, simple example, if I talk about how to mitigate the risk, how to understand, whether the risk is being mitigated or no. The next step is understanding the controls in the picture. Step number 5, identification and evaluation or assessment of the controls of internal controls. So you need to identify and assess the internal controls. Okay, that whether these internal controls are appropriate or not, whether these internal controls, whether at least is there any internal controls in place that can mitigate these risks. Okay, once you identify the risk, you need to provide a response to that particular risk, and that may include your understanding of the controls. Okay, so you need to understand the operating effectiveness and the design effectiveness of the control. You need to test the control which are there, and that is required to be done in order to understand the risk, how much risk is there, how much risk is not there. And if I have to give you some examples of the good controls and what they do is page number 12.16. This is an illustration below given for the general IT controls. Okay, these are the controls And what these controls do, what risk they mitigate? Risk that are or addressed by the controls. For example, access security controls that will help you to understand that, okay, whether access required are authorized review or not. Okay, whether the transaction of administrative and sensitive have are being monitored or not, whether security policies are maintained or not. So these controls will help you to understand whether there is risk or not, or whether this risk being addressed or mitigated or not. Okay, this is how you need to understand the controls. Further you will understand, or further you will go in deep in with respect to the control when you go for chapter number 3, when let's say SA 315, SA 330, you will go in detail over there. Okay, now we understood the IT dependency, we understood the risk from using the IT, we understood the risk of IT dependency and the control assessment also. But there is one point that is left that we are required to discuss further. So remember the key areas that we were discussing, key areas for an auditor to understand the IT. So what we understood is understand the transaction flow, understand the significant systems, understand the controls. Remember why controls, from where the control is coming? Because you need to understand the risk, and to understand the risk, you need to understand the control. Just now we saw. So it is related to risk. Or you can, for your reference, what you can say is step number 5. Now, identification of the technologies that is being used. Okay, emerging technologies. We will come emerging technologies. We will see that in some time, because these technologies have some specific risk. Okay, they pose specific risk, and we need to understand that risk. Okay, so that's why you need to understand these emerging technologies, because they are not like general IT systems. For example, AI. Do you have a source code of AI? AI doesn't work like a calculator that every time 1 plus 1 it will throw 2. It can give some different answer also. Hallucinations, remember? Or you might have already come across a lot of AI may provide you answers which are not existence, hallucinations. So accordingly, we need to understand specific risk related to these technologies, emerging technologies. And again, I will star mark this, and we will discuss later. And after that, you need to understand how much complex the IT environment is, because this, now you have a full picture. You have IT systems, you have IT dependencies, plus you have emerging technologies, and because of all these there is a risk, and to address the risk you have controls. Okay, so this is the set of data you have.
Sir, I think our students are waiting for the meeting ID. So we can continue, but if you can just write down the meeting ID detail so that they can join and clear their doubts also.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. So meeting ID for joining the meeting is, I'll write over here, 8 847-1905-8760. The meeting ID is 847-1905-8760. You can log into the Zoom, you can open the Zoom, enter this meeting ID, and with the help of this meeting ID, you can join the session and ask your doubts.
So, dear students, as Harshad sir shared the meeting ID, you can go on the portal, and the way you log in the way and you write the meeting ID detail so that you can join. One more clarification, your notes and assignments will be shared to you in the WhatsApp group, right? So you can view on the same. Yeah. So I think our students are joining.
Okay. So you can ask your doubts. You can write in the chat box your doubts, whatever doubts you have.
Or else they can raise the hand.
Yes.
So if you'll raise the hand, sir will take your name and you can definitely ask your query.
Okay.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. So, sir, basically my query is being categorized into the two parts. The first one is with regards to advantages of digital audit, and the second part is about the overall understanding about the digital audit and the auditing digitally. So hereby I go. So the first one was, sir, you talked about one aspect about better analytics of on the advantages of digital audit. So, sir,
Yes.
basically, since you also said on a later part that it can lead to hallucinations, so AI, because you are using AI, so how reliable it can be, sir? Because you are placing the reliance on the entire, IT system. So that was my main concern.
See, just to quickly provide you an answer on this, there are multiple type of AI. When I say AI is not some just few applications are there. There are different models. Some models are designed in a way that they have to give the answer by whatever data they have. Simple example, market application, Notebook LM. So Notebook LM will not go and do an internet search and will provide you the answer. Rather, it will give you the answer based on whatever data you provide to them. It only processes. So by having this restrictive AIs, you can have better analytics and appropriate outcome.
Okay. The second one was with regards to improving risk assessment, sir. Because, sir, since there are multiple factors which has been involved for doing the risk assessment, so how can we just merely emphasize on the reliance upon the controls which has been placed on IT systems?
See, why IT is placing reliance on the IT system, improving risk assessment. See, what is happening is the moment I place a reliance, okay, I say these systems are working appropriately. That means somewhere down the line, when I place a reliance, when I do the testing of the controls, when I do the operating effectiveness, design effectiveness, at the end I say, okay, I have a reliance on this particular system. So some risks are already taken care of by the IT, on which I'm saying, okay, there is no major, misstatement that can arise from this risk because they are mitigated or addressed. Now I need to focus on other areas, other risks which are there. So by that way, I can divert my attention to the areas where I actually need to place my, attention rather than the areas which are already taken care by the IT.
Okay. Then one more thing about you showed about the blockchain which is tracking the transactions. But sir, this was with specification to the cryptos which you showed. But in the practical scenario, how blockchain is being used in whether in the ERP systems or what kind of system is being implemented?
Similar. So see, here what you saw was crypto. But in similar technology, the trail is available. The blocks are available. When you go to a particular block, see, the UI might be different. Some graphs might be different, but it works on a similar concept that when you go in a one particular block, you will have the link and reference of the previous block, which was processed before that. And by that way, you can trace the entire audit trail or the transaction trail, that from where what block is started.
So that means, with regards to, for example, we are using accounting software that is Tally. So is it having that blockchain specifically? That is the thing.
No, see, some softwares as of now don't have, but for example, let's say if I talk about a particular ERP, complex ERP system, let's say SAP. Okay, now where they can implement blockchain for the fixed assets, or for some type of some assets intangible, from where the intangible is coming, because sometimes what happens is even some intangibles are being are obtained or generated in-house, some are bought. Or another area I can think of where the blockchain can be used is a contract. When the contract was created, when it was altered, or to maintain that audit trail of the particular contract. There are many, if a company is involved into multiple insurance contract or some kind of contracts, over there they can implement this kind of blockchain technology.
Beautiful, sir. Just one last thing. I just wanted to confirm my understanding upon today's session. So today's crux was with regards to digital audit and auditing digitally. So what I understood, if please kindly correct me if I'm wrong, with regards to digital audit, is it means that it is deploy a system and placing reliance on it? And does auditing digitally means to use the technology to solve the underlying concern while conducting audit? Is my
No,
understanding correct?
so digital audit, when I say, is you are not implementing the technology. Technology is there by implemented by the company. Simple example of this quick card. Company already has a technology. Now, can I rely on this? That can become only when I do a digital audit, and at the end I will say, okay, I can place my assurance on the effectiveness of this particular entire systems which we have. But auditing digitally is something like I cannot go and verify each and every line of the code. I need to use the softwares to make to audit that particular softwares, or to audit the entire set of transactions very quickly and efficiently. That is auditing digitally.
Thank you so much, sir. And I'm really blessed to have you as our faculty. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
So Radha, you can lower your hand, and I think Kanaya Singh wants to ask the query. Yeah, Kanaya, you can unmute yourself.
Yes. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir.
Yes.
So my question is, like, is it safe to share data with AI or blockchain technology? Like, is it not breach of contract between auditor and auditee, as I would be sharing data without consent of auditee?
Okay, let me answer this. Might see, again, if I talk about this confidentiality part, a lot of AIs, they have this feature that you can select whether this data will be used for further training or not. You need to look for that, and accordingly you can share the data with the particular AI.
Okay. So, sir, like, while doing the audit in IT environment, so is it like how we can mitigate the risk of sophisticated fraud? Because
Sophisticated fraud.
yes, because it involves highly skilled person to manage all the things. Like IT is like a chain system, so each and everything is interrelated. So for a normal person or for a management, how is it beneficial? How they can check the fraud or some sort of things?
Okay, let me answer this. So, see, when I say fraud, first of all, you need to understand what is the risk of having a fraud. Okay, we need to apply SA 240, and we need to understand, is there any fraud risk present, first of all, because there are certain systems where there can be fraud risk. For example, revenue recognition, for example, override of management, override of control. There can be certain areas where there cannot be a fraud risk. For example, if company doesn't have any physical fixed asset, there will not be any high chances of fraud risk. So you need to understand the fraud risk. And when I come to the IT systems, now you need to understand the systems, like what are the systems, on which areas they are impacting. For example, this is impacting revenue. Yes, there can be a fraud risk, and accordingly I need to identify and assess the risk, and I need to prepare my response, that you can say control testing or substantive testing for that particular area. considering the IT systems.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other
Neha,
question?
you can lower your hand. If any other student having any query, you can please raise your hand so that we can resolve the same. If you have any query relating to topic, any other point, Radha, again raise the hand.
Yes.
Radha, if you still have doubt, please
Yeah.
unmute or lower
Yes,
your
ma'am.
hand.
Karuna ma'am and Harshit sir, this query is overall in a general. Since in the starting of the session, ma'am, you said that this topic is weak and overall auditing is a weak topic. So I would like to just give a suggestion and feedback that what kind of keywords should be used while writing the answers of audit, because that is very essential for us to, you know, gain marks. Can you just enshrine upon this, please?
See, when you have to write the answer, that's why, whenever we are discussing, I am specifically providing some answers, like, some keywords. For example, over here, identifying and assessing the risk of material misstatement. So I can write what could go wrong, but I will not write that. I will write the appropriate terminology that is more suited and more, reflecting the area. So throughout the session, at multiple places, I have identified like what you can write, understanding the information system, and demonstrating, let's say, this SA8 SA315's terminologies. So this is how you need to mention all these terminologies, all these concepts, all these appropriate language when you have to write the answer.
Okay, just wanted to tell my personal ambition over here. Wanted to share with you that in CA final audit, till yet there no one has scored 90 above, as per my understanding. So may I be able to score if I follow this kind of hierarchy of which you just recently explained? That's what my point is.
See, marks.
Delhi, in fact, in auditing, 95 also being scored by a student.
In
So
CA
it's
final.
not like that, yes.
Okay.
In CA final also, it's near about 90 or more than 90 is also there.
Okay.
So definitely, if you are putting your efforts in the correct direction and you are you are preparing, you are putting in efforts in writing the answer, evaluating whether your understanding for the question is correct, you are writing the required and relevant answer, you are following the steps, like if the knowledge and comprehension based question is there, you are writing complete 4 points or 5 points as per the requirement. If it is application based, you are following the pattern. Then definitely, because you need to practice now itself, and then you need to review whether you are moving in correct direction. If it is not, then your preparation should be more stronger and your emphasis should be on weaker topics. So here you can definitely get more than 90 marks also. In the beginning, I was telling about getting exemption marks, more than exemption. Since if you have observed for nursery, KG or any of the class, if you see, you have studied for 1 year, 1 whole year. But when I discuss with the students, they are not putting their 6 months sincerely for the auditing subject. If you continuously at least 2 to 3 years studying the auditing subject for 6 months also, and in the like your manner of studying is in correct direction, definitely you can get exemption marks also, more than that also. But yes, if you are putting your efforts for May 27 exam now onwards, and you are in regular touch with us, you are finding any difficulty, you are discussing with us, and you are overcoming the same, you can definitely get more than 90 also.
Correct, ma'am.
Anything else? Harshad sir would also like to add, I think. He also wants
No,
to.
ma'am, you are absolutely correct. See, that's the only thing. A constant practice and understanding the topic, logic of the topic, not just remembering the terminology, but understanding the logic of the topic with the terminology, with the correct language is, I think, will take you to the end.
Yeah. So just
Share
final.
one of the observation regarding students' performance, like for May 26 examination, some of the students, the question was about investigation topic related fixed assets concern, right? And the students are writing general audit procedures for fixed assets. So they are not able to understand the requirement of the question. So first, you should read the question carefully. You need to audit the question,
Yes,
right? Which, which is very, very essential and important. So you should be knowing that the question is talking out from the investigation point of view. Rather than writing audit procedures relating to fixed assets, you need to think from that perspective and your answer should be in that manner. Then only marks will be there. Otherwise, when you are out from the examination department, you're coming out and you will think, yes, I have written all the correct answers, everything was perfect, and I'll get full marks. And at the end, when we are not getting the marks, then we are like, definitely we feel bad.
Correct.
So that is the main thing, that you should be like having so much of the practice that you know that where you are lacking. And in the examination also, you are able to understand the requirement of the question. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I wanted to know. And when for the review thing, I will mail in audit the mail ID which you said, right? So the faculty will review it, correct?
You can contact me, auditing-final@ICAI.in. You can write on the same.
Thank you so
And
much.
we are there. And in the LVC also, we will be interacting with you ongoing basis.
Okay.
Sometimes if I'm not there, my colleague will be there or Harshad sir will be there. They will take your queries. And if anything for me specifically, they can convey it to me also. And I'll definitely reach to you.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. I'm really blessed to have you as my faculty. I'm really blessed, to be very frank.
My best wishes. You have not thought of passing auditing subject. You have thought beyond that, more than 90 marks. And I'm very happy and I wish your dream comes true. And you contact us that, yes, I am able to get more than 90 marks. And that will be like a compliment for us and you also.
Definitely, ma'am. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Same to you. Any other student? If you have any query, beta? So if there is no query, Harshad sir, you can ask them some of the question, maybe 2-3 MCQ or 2-3 questions, and then we can give them homework also. If they can.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Arsha madam. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Shailendra. Yeah. If you have any feedback, please do share to us. Do not hesitate. Please share your feedback if any. Yeah, Harshad sir.
Okay, yeah. So let me go where I was, just a minute. Okay, so what we have done till now, just a quick recap of what we have discussed till now is we were discussing about the like digital audit and the relevant steps. Now, what I want you guys to do is for the next session, see, next session we will be focusing on the cyber risk. We will be focusing on the emerging technologies. So I want you to read that particular part. I want you to do understanding of that particular topic, and then you have to come up with your doubts also from this session or from the reading whatever you have on the topic, and then you can ask in the next session also. Okay, so a quick recap of what we have done till now, and I will definitely will expect an answer on this also. So what we have done till now is we understood what is digital audit. So can quickly anyone tell me in one sentence what is digital audit? Quickly, what's it digital audit? Yes, Radha.
Yes, digital audit means it has been categorized into 5 steps. So the first step is to understand the process flow of the transaction, then to understand the IT environment. After understanding the IT environment, then it depends upon the SA 315 understanding of the risk assessment also, identifying and assessing. And then the final one is depending on, I'm sorry, I forgot, sir, quickly. Yeah, and to understand the complexity of the IT environment.
But that is how to get to there, how to get to digital audit. But what is the outcome of digital audit? What is digital audit?
Okay, so you are using the tools and technologies to understand the audit. I mean, to do the audit specifically, if I say.
Okay, Kanaya, what is your answer?
The digital audit is a process when you are assuring that IT environment in which you are working is doing fine or not in every aspect.
Yes. So basically, when I talk about digital audit, not auditing digitally, digital audit is something that at the end I can say that I can place my assurance on the effectiveness of the IT system. That's the digital audit. Okay. Placing the assurance on the effectiveness of the IT systems which are implemented in an organization. That's what digital audit is about. Okay. Quickly, can anyone tell me the advantages of digital audit? Just headings, advantages.
Yes, sir. I can say enhance effectiveness and efficiency, better audit quality, lower cost, better analytics, improved risk assessment.
Yes, very good. So, absolutely correct. Improved risk assessments, enhance effectiveness and efficiency, better audit quality, lower cost, and better analytics. Okay. Now, what is auditing digitally? Yes. You can unmute and answer.
Yes. Which use some systems to audit properly and using of the new technologies. That is what
Absolutely correct.
auditing digitally.
Absolutely correct. So when I use advancement in the technology for conducting an effective and efficient audit, when I say advancements in technology means advanced technology, emerging technologies, okay, to do an efficient and effective audit, that is auditing digitally. Okay. Now, one critical question.
I just want to ask other students like Charita, Ms. Rana, Weber, dear students, don't think if I will give wrong answer, then what will happen? Always try to answer the question. It will help you in the examination also. You'll be able to recall easily. Yeah, please continue.
Yeah. So, one important question to everyone is that in order to understand the IT systems to for the purpose of digital audit, what you need to understand, what you need to identify. Yes, Kanaya.
First, we need to identify the environment in which a business is running, the system in which they are working, and overall process they are doing. Based on that, we will choose the IT environment and system.
Okay. Anyone would like to answer? Weber, Chitratha, anyone?
Sir, actually your question was not clear. I didn't understood. That's why I'm not answering.
So to understand the IT systems for the purpose of digital audit, what you need to do? Like now I'm asking, what is the first step you need to do?
Okay. I think to go by SA315, sir, is it?
Yes, but what SA315 says?
Basically, yeah, SA315 is actually allowing you to understand the information systems by understanding class of transactions and to initiate, record, process, correct the transactions, the IAR/PR, which we understood, and the controls which is surrounding the journal entries, and the IT documentation matrix. That's what I understood by this, the 5 elements.
Yes. So yes, so basically there are key areas to understand the IT environment for the purpose of digital audit, which is understanding the flow of the transaction, significant systems, their controls, because we have to understand the IT dependencies and IT dependencies risk also. So in order to understand the risk, you need to understand the control, identify the technologies, emerging technologies, okay, their specific risk and how complex the IT system is. Okay, so this is what we have covered today. Again, any doubt to anyone? Any doubt? Please, you can ask doubts as many times. Don't worry about whether it's a silly doubt or a normal doubt. The moment you will ask, you will get the clarity. So please ask as many times as you can, okay, to understand the concepts.
Yes, sir. Actually, what has happened is everything, the concept which you explained today in today's session is actually jumbled up as a khichdi. So that's why I'm facing this trouble that how to segregate it in a proper way.
That's where the step system I have, kept it, because go in the step and flow. That to understand the digital audit, first you identify the IT systems. You understand how the transaction in which flow they are recorded. Then, in order to understand the IT system, I will go and understand what could go wrong, which is the IT risk. Again, we discussed there are two type of risk: risk from using the IT, and there is a cyber risk. Cyber risk we are yet to cover. Risk from using the IT, as I discussed, there could be multiple type of risk. Then, as I said, IT systems, they do not work in alone. There are IT dependencies. Then next steps comes is understand the IT dependency and understand what are the risk for the IT dependency, and there could be controls placed to mitigate the risk. See, in order to make that your digital audit should reduce your audit work, you need to perform better. In order to perform better risk assessment, you need to identify the controls, which controls target which areas, and which risk are already mitigated. So understanding the controls, and then we will go back and we will see the cyber risk and the rest of the part. So this is how actually the flow works for the digital audit.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We are clear with this.
Any other doubt? No? So for the next session, what I would like you guys to do is read the rest of the chapter, come up with your doubts, and we will practice some questions also. Okay, but I want you guys to ask your doubts when you will be there for the last 15 minutes, so that you can take benefit of this particular session and understand the entire chapter in a more appropriate way. Okay, so please read, come up with your doubt, and do a bit of practice also whenever you get time on this particular chapter. Okay, if no further doubts, then yes, ma'am.
So I hope what homework has been given to you by Harshad sir, you all will complete, and that is the way for the success, right? And getting very good marks. And in the next session, more questions will be practiced, because conceptual part will be covered, so that we can also discuss that where you are lacking and what kind of issues you are facing. As I mentioned, your feedback is very important and crucial. Do share your feedback so that we can further improvise. If any other doubt, you can definitely reach out to us. And thank you very much, Harshad sir. Thank you, my dear students, for active participation. And please complete your homework, what Harshad sir has given. And whatever we have covered till now, please remember, please read that carefully, okay? And do some questions practice. Written practice you need to do. You can use previous examination question paper. You can use model test paper. You can use previous RTP or mock test paper, and definitely you can practice so that you can have idea how much you are able to solve the questions, right? So with this, we'll be meeting you soon on 22nd July, same at 6 p.m. Thank you. Thank you very much. Wish you all the very best. Thank you, Harshad sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Yeah.